Hello everybody, welcome to the first webcam video. This will be a podcast, and they're all going to be under course information in Blackboard. So make sure that you have a Blackboard account. Hopefully if you're seeing this you do. So make sure that you have that, and you're receiving the emails from me. So this is REC120, Chapter 1, Lesson 1. So Chapter 1, Lesson 1. There is a corresponding PowerPoint. You're welcome to take a look at that. Please note that I'm teaching out of the 7th edition of your book right now, and the PowerPoint's in the 8th edition, so there's some differences, but nothing that should confuse you or anything. So the PowerPoint's in the 8th edition, the book's in the 7th, but shouldn't be a big deal. So let's go ahead and get started. Chapter 1, Lesson 1. REC120, Chapter 1, Lesson 1. Okay, so what we're doing is we're looking at all of the ways that recreation, leisure, and play, or the industry of recreation, is influenced. And there are certain factors. There's about 12 factors that give us a good overview of the recreation industry. Recreation industry is a $74 billion industry. $74 billion a year flow in and out of what we call the recreation industry. So I would venture to say that there are some really good, well-paying jobs that are still fun, or that are fun jobs. So if you're looking for a major or minor, or something to do with your career, maybe it's part-time, maybe it's full-time, that involves some type of recreation. So consider it. It's a big industry. So hopefully you'll learn in this class that there are many opportunities. There's several major forces in that $74 billion industry. One being the sports arena. Okay, all the various types of sports, from recreational sports to professional sports. There's travel and tourism, another big chunk of $74 billion a year. The role of the government, popular entertainment, the arts and culture, okay, spectator sporting, and a bunch more that we'll get to as we go through the class. There's several ways that folks participate. Mostly you are a direct participant. That in any of these components of the $74 billion industry, you are a direct participant somehow, meaning that you're having an experience. The other way you can participate is as a spectator, simply by watching. And we'll find later in the class that spectator sports are huge, catastrophic. I mean, it's just a huge part of the industry. Group experience is another way. You may participate in recreation with a group. As we'll find that it's only less than 2% of folks that participate in any kind of recreation participate by themselves. That brings me to the next point, is if you do participate by yourself, that's a way to do it. And then there's passive and active participation, which we'll get to more later. And so again, there's several motivations. There's motivations of why folks participate in recreation. We have an entire chapter on this. But some of the things that may come to mind for you are you like to relax, okay? Maybe release stress from work, get away from things. Maybe you participate in recreation to express your creative side, pursue excellence and/or competition. Maybe that you pursue excellence in athletics, or the particular sport that you play, and that you like to compete. Okay? You could actually participate in recreation to release hostility and negative energy, which we'll get to more of that later in the class, which actually can be pretty dangerous, depending on what recreational pursuits that you go after. People participate because they want to make new friends, or for a social experience. That's actually the number one way that folks participate in a group setting, is simply because of the social experience. Over 50% of them don't even really care what they're doing. They just want to hang out with new people or with people that they know and participate in recreation. So there's other ways that you participate. But what I want to go back to now is I want to go back to these 12 elements, these 12 factors of why people participate in recreation, kind of the macro view, if you will, of why people participate in recreation. Oh, and before I forget, these videos are going to be about 10 minutes each due to various students' computers downloading them, so it's best to keep them short and the megabytes low. So there'll usually be several parts to a video. This is lesson 1 part 1. Chances are there'll be lesson 1 part 2. Okay, so just before I forget, anyway, so we're looking at these 12 major factors, and if you're following by PowerPoint, the first one would be the discretionary time, or increase in discretionary time. Since the 50s or World War II, we've had more time on our hands, and there's a lot of reasons for this. Some may make the argument that we have less time. If you're connected to your BlackBerry all the time and you're constantly working and things like that, maybe you see your parents doing that, or that is true, and there's some validity to some of those arguments. But overall, if we look at the macro, the big picture, overall people have more time now than they ever used to. One reason is that, guess what? You don't have to go out and kill your food every day. You can just simply go to the store. You take major factors like that and put them across the board, you'll find that people have more time because we live in cities. We also have more holidays and more vacations. Now, yes, this does not compare to Europe. Europe has a different philosophy, and they get much more vacation than we do here in the United States of America. So I would venture to say that you're probably better off over there on pure vacation time. But we do get a lot of time, again, overall. Second is that the second factor that works along with that is an increase in money. Your book calls it national affluence, okay? But it really is just more money. When you have money to spend, what are you going to do? And I would, if you were here to answer that question in class, most of you would probably say that you would spend your money going out. Okay, maybe you're going to go out to a restaurant, maybe you're going to join a fitness center, maybe you're going to take a cruise. Okay, number 1, vacation. Number 1, over 7 million people. Number 1 vacation in the year 2000 is the cruise. It's doubled since then. And I think I might have the latest stats for you later on in the class. But so you're going to do something with that extra volume of money that you have, and chances are it's related to recreation. So you've got more time, you've got more money propelling folks to participate in the $74 billion industry. And then what's nice, what goes along with that, not necessarily another major factor, your PowerPoint says the digital age, but really what that means is you're looking at an influence of technology. Is that technology, for the most part, overwhelming majority of technology assists you in having more recreation. And we'll talk about in this class, we'll talk about the dawn of the Special Olympics and how we're now to the point with the technology of prosthetics, for example, that are making athletes just as fast or even faster than their counterparts that don't have any need for prosthetics. It's absolutely amazing. We saw that in the latest Olympics. There's just one influence of technology. One influence of technology that is allowing recreation to be easy to access, so that many people do it. And it's exciting things. We know that recreation is going to continue to grow into the future. Then we'll talk about the internet. We'll talk about all the other technological advances. But it's pretty amazing. Recreation is at your fingertips, and it's different because the society now sees recreation as something that's important and something that needs to happen. Whereas in the earlier societies, which we'll talk about in Chapter 3, didn't really know what recreation was. Some of the societies had recreation infused. Others had to come up with something to do. It's very interesting. But we'll compare that to where it was then, say with big societies like the Romans, the Greeks, or Egypt, okay, and then where we are now with how we view recreation and our ability to access it. So we've got time, we've got money, we've got technology on our side when it comes to recreation. 3 important factors. So I'll be back to discuss the rest of the factors in just a moment.